right, this morning we're making sausage gravy and biscuits. I have sausage gravy going right, or sausage browning right here. I'm going to use this same pan to make my gravy in, and I'm also going to link a recipe to this sausage in the description because it's a homemade home ground beef sausage that we put our own seasonings in, so we know exactly what's in it. I've got bread in the oven, and I will link a recipe at the end of this video to that bread. It's the video I have for hoagie bread. I use it in lieu of biscuits as well. It works out perfect. So once this is browned, I'll come back to you. All right, my sausage is browned. So now I'm going to use a slotted spoon, scoop out my sausage into a bowl so I have it for later. Make sure all the drippings are drained out because I want that to remain in the pan. And once I get this done, I'll be back with you. All right, so now I'm ready to add my heavy whipping cream. I just got some from a local supermarket. Add as much as you want. I don't have measurements for this. It's just if you want a little bit, add a little bit. If you want a lot, add a lot. And I already had like a cup or so out of this container. So if y'all are thinking, God, she added the whole container. So I'm also going to add pepper to this because you can't have sawmill gravy without it. So I'm getting the pepper shaker right now, and I'm going to add a little salt as well. And this is to taste. Again, I don't have measurements for it because if you like pepper, add a lot. If you don't like pepper, don't add any. I'm going to add a little salt. All right. And I'm going to let that come to a simmer before I start stirring on it. Because what we're doing with this gravy, it's a little different than my last one. I had a request, and I'll have to look up her name, but she wanted gravy without the xanthan gum. So that's what I'm making, and it's a simple gravy. I'm not adding anything else to it. I'm just going to simply heat this, keep stirring it, and let the heat evaporate the moisture in it to create the gravy. That way it's a simple gravy. It's just heavy whipping cream, the seasoning, and we're going to add back in the sausage at the end. So I'm going to hit pause, and I'll be back with you once it's simmering. Alright, so you can see it's starting to simmer. I've got my whisk out here. So I'm going to be whisking this and keeping it kind of stirred up while it's boiling out. That's all that steam you see is where it's getting the moisture out of it. So you don't have to constantly stir it, but you definitely want to stay with it, and probably every 30 seconds to a minute, give it a good stir just to make sure you've got it, keeping it stirred and keeping it from sticking to the bottom. And I did look up the person that made the comment. It's Also Adventures on Trail. So this gravy mix is for you. I hope you enjoy it. And let's let that simmer. All right, I've been stirring this about every 30 seconds. I did walk out in the living room and got a sip of coffee and not paying attention, and it boiled over. So I've got a mess to clean up. But this is kind of the simmer I want on it. I'm occasionally stirring it with the whisk. I did turn it down slightly. I had it on medium, and now I turned it down to the 4, which all stoves are different, so you got to figure out the sweet spot on yours. But you can see it's getting a little thicker. And this has been doing this for about 10 minutes now on simmer, so I'm going to let it simmer some more. I'll be right back. All right, this has been simmering about an additional 5 minutes from last time y'all were there, so total time about 15 or so minutes, and you can see it's getting thick. See how that is? And once it cools, it'll be a little more thicker. So at this point, I'm going to add in my sausage. If I can do it gracefully. That wasn't graceful. Try this again. All right. So see how it's doing that? So I'm just going to add in my sausage, get it heated up really quick. And it should be done. And I will be right back with you. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the burner too and let this sit, because as it cools, it'll thicken up a little. So I got the burner off. I've got my bread ready. Like I said, I'll put a link to the bread at the end of this video. But I just cut it into squares, and that's what we're going to use as biscuits. And let me get the plates ready. Alright, so I've let it cool down a little. It's made it a little thicker, and obviously if you want your gravy thicker than this, you would boil it a little longer. If you want it thinner, just don't boil it as much. But I'm going to start scooping it onto the bread I made. And we use this as biscuits. You could totally put butter on top, however you want to eat it. But you can see how the middle is. It's just a basic cloud bread. And like I said, I'll be putting a link to that video. But see, just like gravy. I'm going to put a little more because I know this is my husband's plate and he loves sausage gravy. So there's the video. I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope this helps anybody who doesn't like xanthan gum. This is an easy gravy to make and you don't have to use any additives. So, you know, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, hit my subscription button. Feel free to share any video you want if you really like it. You know, send other people to our page. I love cooking. I enjoy doing this. So thank you guys so much for all your support. And thank you so much, Linda, for being on my Patreon page. Y'all have a great day.